Hey guys, and welcome to Loot Chest on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about any topic we want to and have a dialogue. My name's Seth,
I'm Josh.
and today we're going to be talking about our favorite controllers throughout gaming history. Now we're probably going to have similar taste in controllers, so I was originally going to propose that we say our top three, but I assume at least two out of three of our favorite controllers are going to be similar. So we'll just discuss. You'll say one, I'll say one, we'll just discuss it. We'll do three or four of them. So anyway, when you're thinking about your favorite controller, comfort, actual practicality, and features, what comes to mind?
Sorry. Probably Xbox 3, the 360 controller.
Yep.
That's easily my favorite controller. I can literally play it for hours. I don't get cramps. I don't, it felt right in my hands.
Yeah.
It was really just, it was like the perfect weight.
Yep.
I didn't feel like weighed down. It
But it wasn't
nice.
as weird as it sounds. It also wasn't too light.
Yeah.
So remember when the DualShock 3 came out for the PS3?
was
That thing
it was
felt like it was like made of
crazy.
paper, and I was gonna go.
Yeah.
Just fucking
Oh, yeah.
smash
Yeah.
in
It
my
felt like
hands.
you were going to destroy it real fast.
Yeah, the thumb positioning too, I think, is just unmatched.
Yeah, the off canter,
Yeah.
I really prefer to have my thumbs like this than like this.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons why I've had problems with the PlayStation controller since the original DualShock. The PS4 controller has improved immensely, but that's a different controller. Going back to the 360, the triggers also I really like. I like them.
Had good feedback on them.
Well, they're not big. Like one of my problems with the Xbox One's controller, and it's fine. Although I do think I prefer the PS4 now. They feel like ergonomic to your hands, which is great for comfort. But like they don't feel good to me. It feels like I'm like pulling in a chunk of the controller and not a trigger. If that makes sense.
Yeah, my biggest issue, I liked them because it gripped your finger. It felt like a trigger.
Well, the one thing I do like about it is the vibration.
Yeah. That's
really cool.
Yeah. My biggest thing with the PS4 controller, it's taken me a little bit of time to get used to it again. It's a huge improvement over the 3, but the triggers, my fingers tend to slip off because I don't use the top of the trigger. I use the bottom part of the trigger.
Okay, that's interesting.
And it slants towards the controller, so if you press too hard, you'll slide. It doesn't have like that kind of concave like a trigger.
Let's say I had that problem with the PS3 because the fucking triggers were just like these flat pieces that just kind of flapped. But with the new one, they curve like this. So when my finger's inside there, it works. But if you're doing the tip, it makes sense. But I actually felt like that was an improvement. But
No, it's a lot better than the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the problem that I do have because even with the 360 controller, it came to more of a point. It wasn't really rounded, so I can just go.
Is there anything about the 360 controller that you think is not that great?
Probably the headphone jack. I remember the headphone jack not being that nice in it. It was kind of
I think my only complaint about it, and it's the same complaint I had with the original Xbox, is the D-pad.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
That's something that the PlayStation controller has on the Xbox controller, hands down. But obviously, you're gonna use an analog more often, so it doesn't matter as much. But like in like a fighting game, unless you use analogs, that makes sense. Doesn't matter at that point really. But for D-pads, as they go, like PlayStation's way better.
Yeah. They did improve it though. The D-pad. Remember how they had to make that transforming fucking. D-pad
No, that one
on
was
the
really
360?
good.
It was really good.
It still felt bulky to me. But I like how the PlayStation's is curved. So it's like doing the movements, like you've had fucking blisters on your thumb from playing fighting games with older controllers. So
WWE for the Super NES.
dude, fucking Guilty Gear's Chip Zaniff. Shit will wreck you. Like 3 games in, I'm fucked. So 360 is your number one controller?
All-time favorite controller.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Just because it's so balanced in every way. All right, yeah, no, we agree. Best controller for us is the 360.
Worst controller.
Worst controller. I'm gonna break it down in two ways because there's a shit ton of controllers that have existed, and I've had the the honor of being able to use a lot of them. One, I'm gonna go back, way back. There's this controller for the original Nintendo that was essentially the side with the buttons was shaped just like a Nintendo controller, except for it didn't have the same look to it, because that would be copyright. But the left side was this circle pad area, but it had an octagon area, and it had a analog stick in there. Well, it wasn't really analog though. It was like this circle on top of this platform, and as you put your thumb on it, you could swipe it around, but it had no dead zone. It would never center itself.
Ew.
Yeah. Okay. So you just
That's
have
the
this.
fucking
You just
worst.
okay. That's where I'm coming from with this. So you had this fucking limp dick, fucking swipey bullshit thumb thing, and then you had buttons on the buttons worked just fine. But like I remember playing goddamn Friday the 13th. Where it was the side scroller one, did you ever play that?
Yeah.
With that shit, and I would you would like swipe to the right, but like because it wasn't a D-pad, and it was like just this sliding glass door essentially. It would like be diagonal and shit, so he'd like walk and just crouch and shit. And when I try to run from Jason, I'd fucking be like trying to get the hell away from him. It's fucking god awful. So that is probably the worst I've ever experienced, but out of like something that I think more people would know about, I would probably, as much as people are gonna probably disagree, and they're about the same anyway, but functionality's gotten better. I would say the Wii U's, or not the Wii U, the Wii's controller.
The chuck and the
Yeah.
fucking...
Because the fucking analog part, is that the chuck?
Mm-hmm.
That felt good.
Yeah, the chuck.
But only ergonomically. Like it felt so light and chintzy and cheap. And then the fucking the Wiimote part, I understand what they were going for, but like functionality wise it didn't work that well. The technology wasn't that great, and it wasn't comfortable. I felt like you're just holding a dick in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. That's probably that. When it comes down to like controllers, I would use a PS3 controller and still bitch about it. I don't want to use a Wiimote.
Yeah,
In most games.
I'm
I
really...
stay away from them.
I'm really glad that they did bring out like the Pro Pad or whatever the hell that thing's called.
But I really like the
looks
Wii
more like
Pad too.
Oh,
I like
that thing works really well.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad they made like the Super NES controller type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad they made that for the Wii U, because you're right, the chuck and the fucking mote, the Wiimote, it's a jerk off sim. Like, I swear to God, you do this in every single game known to man for the Wii. Yeah, and then the other one's fucking so you look like a dumb bullfighter. And I never liked the fucking like
Fighting a bull's dumb.
in Twilight Princess, Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you swung, like it swings like it's like you're fucking swinging the thing.
That was so fucking stupid
And it was
because
garbage.
when that was coming out, people were like, "Oh, you're gonna be able to play Zelda and like actually control them." Like, just thinking on a tech side, I'm like, "There's no way they're gonna fucking be able to do that." That thing doesn't have that great of shit in it, and like, it's essentially you just working your ass off to press the A button.
Remember Red Steel? That shitty
Oh, dude,
FPS
that
where
game
you
was
can fucking
horrible.
ooh, and fucking, and it was like you could shoot around corners, and I was like, why don't you just fucking go
ooh
instead of fucking,
Jesus.
you know, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very. I never liked the Wiimote. I thought the motion controls were horse
So is
shit.
that your worst? Are we agreeing on that? Or was there a worse one for you? Because we can go for days about that shitty fucking controller.
Yeah, I'd probably say that's probably the worst one.
Because, like, I think the best way to do this is to say, what controller would you go to first, which we already established that. What controller would you stay the fuck away from? And for me personally, it's that Nintendo controller.
That fucking piece of shit.
I would literally show people that as a novelty. But look at this fucking archaic device that fucking...
From a bygone era.
that was left here by the ancient aliens.
Yeah.
Um...
Fuck that thing.
Yeah, but yeah, then again, like to play any game well, I would never touch a Wiimote.
Yeah, even the fucking GameCube with its quarter-size A button. At first, I thought, I was like, this controller looks stupid.
Yeah.
But once you got your hands on it, it worked pretty well.
Oh, I can't really even think of this. Worst controller, in practicality wise, is the 64 controller.
Yeah,
That thing's garbage.
Yeah, it's
It was
very
when I was,
fucking...
even when I was younger and it was like new and crazy. I was still like, what the? I don't have fucking 3 hands.
Yeah.
And I know it's like to switch in. They hadn't gotten like down essentially what the 360 has at this point, but like.
But at the same time, like, what the fuck do you use the D-pad for? Literally every game I played for the 64 was with the joystick.
I played one game that used the D-pad. I forgot what it was. But it blew my mind. One game out of every game I ever played for the 64, and I played most of them.
That's a rarity.
And then like there's no second analog, and I get the time and the era or whatever it kind of takes from that, but like or makes that make sense. But God, thinking back, and I always forget about it when I think back to like I played a first person shooter with that fucking thing, with the C buttons.
GoldenEye. Mm-hmm. Sidestepping with the C
With the
buttons.
C button, yeah, and then this is look and fucking
Yeah,
strafe
and
shit.
now it's the other way around. Now it's the left. Your left thumb does all your movement. Your right thumb is your.
It hurts my fucking brain thinking about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you know what? It's like surviving a traumatic experience. We got through it.
Mm-hmm.
We actually made it. We're still here.
One thing I will say about at least the Wiimote controller was durable. I mean, like, and not the fact that people threw through their TVs
I'll
and
say
shit.
it fucking destroyed TVs. That was
But I
fun.
mean, like, the 64 controller, enough use, and you got that fairy dust around the joystick, and they started to lose their dead zone.
Yeah.
And
Fairy
then,
dust.
and then you know, you always gave your shitty friend that fucking controller that sucks. You know, while your other friends get the
Oh, yeah.
controllers.
That was me every time. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking, here you go.
Yeah.
Get that shitty one.
Here's the crappy one where the fucking between the dead zone and like the movement is literally fucking a quarter of an inch. So they're either booking it or fucking.
I would say it wasn't even, whenever I did that too, it wasn't even like I was like, oh, I'm going to fuck them over. It's like, I'm not using that.
Yeah.
You're using that.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you guys fight over this
You're a guest
one.
in my house. You're using the shitty
Yeah,
controller.
exactly.
Yeah, so you haven't used the fucking the Alien controller that I used as a kid, dude. Fucking this place I used to go to when I was a kid, a friend's house. They had like 6 types of fucking Nintendo controllers, all these weird off-brand ones. Like before Mad Cats was making all their weird shit, there was
like Tommy Pickles' father from Rugrats. He just makes
Pretty
shit in
much.
his basement.
pretty much, yeah. That's a
Damn.
fucking weird reference. I was like Tommy Pickles. But yeah, outside of that, I would definitely say the Wiimote, just because it's impractical and it was a shitty attempt at a gimmick, and well, it wasn't shitty, it sold. But and then yeah, the 64. So Nintendo being a little too experimental. Yeah. I know we originally set out to just talk about our favorite controllers, but it's a little more interesting to do it this way. What do you think is one of the more not necessarily good or bad, but just creative controllers out there?
I mean, your basic like DDR pad was
Okay.
was pretty creative. I mean,
Did you
it was
see-
just based towards the game itself.
Did you
but
see the guy who beat I think it was Dark Souls with
the fucking Guitar Hero controller?
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy because I can't beat Dark Souls with a regular controller.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched him just fucking. That's off topic though. Yeah, no. Peripherals, like for certain games, has always been an interesting thing to me because they're like technically are a console's controller, but at the same time, like the Steel Battalion controller that was like,
I was like
$6 million,
60
and
buttons and fucking
and
yeah.
you only had like 2 games to play with it.
Yeah.
Steel Battalion is some obscure Japanese game that fucking no one has. I was gonna say this is in my top 3 favorite controllers of all time. The Dreamcast controller.
Oh.
I think that even though it was on the same side as like the 64 and like it had the one analog because of the time, I fucking loved the way it felt. And some people didn't like it, but I liked it at the time. It was super comfortable, but also the VMU was such a cool idea, especially at the time where Tamagotchis and Gigapets and shit were like
huge.
Were a huge thing.
Yeah, and like being able, like, and you can take those things out and play games on them.
Yep.
Like, and it was a memory card pretty much.
It was absolutely a memory card. And there was like Snake type games.
Yeah,
on it, and
I mean, it had
you could have the
triggers.
chows.
Yeah, it was like a very early design of kind of modern controllers now. Like,
For sure.
I mean, without the VMU, that memory card shit's kind of out the window now. But
Yeah.
um,
Fucking Xbox tried for a long time.
yeah, but yeah, the Dreamcast controller. I just remember it is one of my top threes.
Yeah.
Just because I remember it was comfy, man. It was comfy. The analog didn't feel shitty. It didn't get shitty.
Well, I think also it was even though like the 64, to its credit, was trying to do things that other consoles weren't, but the controller was not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
So you had like, because Halo brought like the FPS to console. They were out before then, but like that's what made it big. Was that controller with that game. But of course, GoldenEye is like the godfather to that because fucking it was so huge and so addictive. But when you think of the controller, it was shitty. The thing about I don't think the controller and the console meshed well, but the Dreamcast controller was almost perfect for it because the VMU interacted with the games most of the time, and the whole experience had like a Nintendo vibe to it because they're both Japanese. But also the games you were playing on the Dreamcast didn't need a second analog. I think Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure,
Power Stone.
Power Stone, those are all just like third-person games that you could just hit a button to look
My thing is in like
Blue Stinger.
Blue Stinger.
Cool.
My thing is about the Dreamcast, and maybe I'm just thinking because I think it's just sweet. I always remember the games looking better, even though it's still in like that genre of Xbox, supposed to be in the genre of like Xbox and PlayStation 1.
It was pretty much what the Wii U is to the PS4 and
Yeah,
Xbox
yeah,
One.
but like I remember the games looking just better. Like I remember like seeing Sonic Adventure and being like, this is fucking amazing.
Blew my mind, yeah.
Yeah,
When it
and
first came out,
like
to be honest.
I remember Halo. I don't think did anything like that for me.
Honestly, and this is a whole different subject that we should talk about at some point, like revelations in gaming. But the fucking textures in Halo blew my mind. That's the biggest thing about
Grass.
Halo that blew my mind.
Grass was
It's the
pretty
first
intense.
time I ever looked down and saw individual, and they didn't have like 3D grass, but like the ground was textured to have like blades of grass.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen that because coming from the 64, everything was just this fucking
Blocky.
Jackson Pollock fucking painting
Yeah.
of just colors and stuff. I remember Conker's Bad Fur Day, fucking great game. Everything was just brown, merging into green, and it was just fucking.
They just had like
palette
different
of
shades
colors.
to try and
Yeah.
give you like a little bit of depth.
Yeah, which
It
is
was-
great. It worked, but like I played Halo, and I remember just looking down, and going, "Holy shit!" And I would like take out my gun, and zoom in at it, and then be all pixelated and shit. I'm sure it looks horrible now, but yeah, like that was crazy. But yeah, I feel like the Dreamcast controller wasn't as hurt by its games as the 64 was. And then another controller I was going to say is a newer controller. I think the Wii Pad, or wherever they call it, is probably one of the more innovative things they've done in a long time. And I don't think people give enough credit.
I fully agree. Like I'd actually, when I first I was like, oh, a second screen. I was like, thanks for giving me DS again. But
Yeah.
no, that thing's fucking pretty awesome, man. Like it's convenient. You know,
Yeah.
like there's playing Hyrule Warriors. Like you can, you're like playing, and then you need to look something up on the map. You look down, oh, there's the map, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you go back to playing. Not pause, world map or fucking whatever. It just made it a whole lot easier,
Well, and like playing Monster Hunter, which was made for the 3DS, on a 3DS, was cool. But then playing it on the Wii U, I was like, holy shit, this made the game just way more accessible.
Oh yeah,
Like it's a smoother process. I'm not fucking going through menus constant shit. I can literally just go and just hit a button and be ready to go. And in that game, those seconds matter. Like
having
when
the
you're
dual
attacking
sticks
something.
fucking was worth a shit too.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
trying to fight with one stick, trying to like get the camera, like you actually had to tap the fucking camera to move it and shit. Oh my god, that frustrated me a lot during big monster fights more than
Yeah.
anything. The DS, like DS as a controller, what do you think? Like, since I don't like it. I don't like the DS. I think it's hard to grip, and like maybe because you have the 2DS, right?
Well, let's say that's the interesting thing is like I'm not much of a portable gamer, but and I think the 3DS is a really cool piece of hardware, but it's not comfortable and never has been. It's just a square, and it only fits like half your hand, so like your hands will cramp up after a while. And I have the fucking the 2DS because I was a cheap ass and bought it, but I actually was sold on it after I held it, and the reason is because it's one solid chunk, and it actually feels like a controller.
Yeah.
So I can actually sit there and hold it for a while, and I barely play because I'm not a portable gamer, but when I do. It's nice. Like the only thing it's missing is a sleeker look and the folding and 3D. But those are all things I don't care about.
Yeah, that's one thing that I thought was kind of lacking with the DS, though, was the 3D. I thought it sucked.
Really, I thought it was super impressive.
Every time that I turn the 3D on, I get a fucking headache. Like
really,
instantly.
you're one of those people.
Yeah,
which is a
like,
lot of people.
Well, but I don't get headaches when I go to movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't get like motion sick when I play a fucking FPS or something. But like, yeah, dude, I would like look at it, and then maybe it's because I got bad vision in my left eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little weaker than my right eye, so maybe that's what
possible.
it is. I mean, but like when I look at it, I'm like, it's a fucking blurry mess, and I don't like it.
No, and that's too bad. But at the same time, I thought the 3D was impressive. I don't use it though, because I think it just gets in the way. Because if you move position, whatever, it changes, and you got to readjust and all that shit. Never got headaches from it though, but the tech geek in me was like, I can't believe they did this. That's fucking awesome. There's nothing on my head, and I'm seeing 3D, or at least my brain thinks I'm seeing 3D.
Yeah.
Really impressive. If it's one thing Nintendo's good at, it's taking chances with shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got plenty of money; they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to give an honorable mention in the whole thing, because we were supposed to discuss 3 controllers we liked, and I feel like we did too. I'd like to say that the PS4 controller is probably one of my top 3 controllers of all time.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
I am easily going to say, for my top 3, let's just get out of the way, 360, PS4, Dreamcast.
It's my list exactly. So, yeah, it's really good. I had problems with the PS3 controller for a long time, and the PS2 and the PlayStation controller. Most of it's fine, but especially on the PS3 controller, the triggers are shit, and the analog's positioning has always sucked and still does. But the sticks were too high and too loose on all the iterations before the PS4 controller. So, like, aiming in a fucking FPS, I would always prefer on 360 because it gave me more control. Whereas the other ones didn't. And the one thing that I gave a fuck about, they actually fixed with the PS4.
Yeah.
And I can actually play FPS on the thing.
That might have came with the controller getting bigger. Because I think they spaced out. Because it went like this. They stretched it a bit. And they spaced out the sticks a little better. Because it almost seemed like with the older controllers, if you push both the sticks in, you're almost touching thumbs.
Yeah.
Like this one actually feels like...
Well, like I said, though, the analogs are set higher on the older controller, too.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
These ones are lower. So you have less area to swing around and more just those minute adjustments. Fucking Rob shit. But yeah. If you watch this, let us know in the comments below what your favorite controller is. All 2 or 3 of you that watch this. And, yeah, I'm definitely curious about that. I'll definitely read that. I think that's about it. Is there anything else you want to mention with controllers?
So, that's it for Loot Chest on Fridays. We will be back next week for another Tasty Tuesday. I'm Josh.
I'm Seth.
And thank you for watching.